Why don't I just buy the $300 hand crank on Amazon?
It takes longer, and it sucks. You're gonna wear your shoulder out and your elbow out. That's the big bitch. I had a friend of mine who complained about when him and his buddies would make sausage, they drew straws for who had to crank. And I told my buddy, I said, well, here, I'll just let you use my water stuffer. And said, when you get to your buddy's shop to make sausage, I said, go in with your cup of coffee or whatever and say, I'll tell you what, boys, I'll make a deal with you. I'll crank all day long if you get me beers when I want one. And they said, done. So they all agreed, and they were laughing at me. And he said, I went to the truck. I carried this thing in. They said, what's that? And he said, that's the stuffer we're using today. And he said, I stood there all day and went, I'm ready for another beer. And he said, I just stood there, didn't have to move. That's right. Making sausage is supposed to be fun. And we put the fun back in sausage making. Meet the Sausagizer. No motors, no gears, no pumps, no electricity. I've simplified it completely because it was me and my dad for a long time. Yeah. So when I go to pick up the meat, it's like this. And then I put whatever seasoning I want in it, I mix it together, and then I stuff it. Back in the day, you saw how that guy came out with a bunch of strips of meat and he ground it in the butcher? That's what we would do. So we would go and get a pork butt and cut it into strips and then feed it through a little bitty grinder that we would make this out of and then mix it and then put it in here. And it was an all day affair. And I was just kind of done with having dad have to deal with it. So we went to easier and easier.
How'd you end up with 100, what's the size?
100 pounds.
How'd you figure that?
Ironically, meat weighs 8 pounds a gallon, like water does.
Water, yeah.
So I just did the math in my head of how many gallons it was going to be, and then I knew how many pounds it was going to be. So we want you to enjoy the product. If you have any questions during assembly or startup or even cleanup, give me a call personally. I'm Thole, and I'm the Sausage King of St. Rose, Illinois.